Hi, seventh graders. Today we are going to be reading an article together about chloroplasts. So let's get started. Where did chloroplasts come from? So here we see a photo and it says this photo shows plant cells under a microscope. The little green spots inside the cells are chloroplasts. So I'm a little disappointed, you guys. I'm going to just be time out for a second here is that we have microscopes at school that we were planning on using to allow you guys to look at plant cells yourself, but unfortunately we're not going to get to do that this spring. And so hopefully when you guys are in 8th grade, we can kind of pick up where some of this was and allow you guys the opportunity to actually look at plant cells and even some animal cells under a microscope. So just letting you guys know that this was part of the plan, was to let you guys actually see these on your own. But for today, we're just going to have to deal with the picture. So again, this is a photo that's showing plant cells under a microscope. The little green spots inside the cells are the chloroplasts. So you can see that each one of these, this is a cell, and then the green spots that you see inside that cell, that's the chloroplast. So you can see that there's many, many cells here, and then within each cell, the chloroplast. Why can a plant make its own food through photosynthesis and you can't? It's because a plant's cells have something your cells don't have. The things you're missing are chloroplasts. If you look at a plant or algae cell under a microscope, you can see lots of tiny round green spots inside each cell. These spots are the chloroplasts. When you look at a green leaf, you are really seeing the color of the chloroplasts inside the cells that make up the leaf. So if you're near a window right now and you look outside, you should hopefully see a lot of trees and bushes and the grass and everything that's kind of started to grow and turn green. The green that you are seeing is actually you being able to see the chloroplasts that are inside the plant cells. And those chloroplasts are the reason that photosynthesis can happen. So here, this is a diagram of a plant cell. So looking back up at that original picture, that would be like if we took this one little plant cell and we looked at what was inside of it, you would see that these, they're kind of like oval shaped. These are the chloroplasts, and this is where photosynthesis actually occurs. This whole thing is the plant cell. So this diagram shows organelles in a plant cell. Like your cells, a plant cell has a nucleus, a mitochondria, and a cell membrane. So that's the same as a human or animal cell. However, unlike your cells, the plant cell has chloroplasts. So these chloroplasts are what you would find in a plant cell, and that's what causes photosynthesis, part of it. Chloroplasts are a kind of organelle. That's the term for special cell parts that perform important functions for a cell. Chloroplasts are extremely important organelles for plants and algae because the chloroplasts are where photosynthesis takes place. Inside each chloroplast, water and carbon dioxide molecules are changed in a chemical reaction, forming oxygen and glucose molecules, which the plant cell can use as food. The photosynthesis reaction is powered by energy from sunlight, and it's the basis of nearly every ecosystem on Earth. So just to recap, photosynthesis is when you have sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. The plant then uses that in its cell using the chloroplasts, and a chemical reaction happens, and the sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide are then turned into oxygen and glucose molecules. Where did chloroplasts come from? Here's the amazing thing. More than 1 billion years ago, these cell parts were independent bacteria. These ancient bacteria were similar in many ways to cyanobacteria, which are a type of bacteria still alive today. If you've ever seen pond scum, the green goop that often grows at the surface of small ponds, you've seen cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are bacteria that can perform photosynthesis, and so were the ancient bacteria that gave rise to chloroplasts. So here, this is a microscope photo that shows groups of cyanobacteria. These bacteria can perform photosynthesis, and they are probably similar to the ancient microorganisms that gave rise to chloroplasts. At the time, all life on Earth was in the form of bacteria and other single-celled organisms known as microorganisms. So during the time period we're talking about, there were no animals, there were no plants. All forms of life were in the form of bacteria and single-celled organisms. Some ancient bacteria were able to perform photosynthesis, while many other microorganisms around them could not. Somehow, there are a few different theories about how this happened. Some ancient photosynthetic bacteria were absorbed by other larger microorganisms. The bacteria became parts of the larger microorganisms. They became the organelles we call chloroplasts. Once the larger microorganisms contain chloroplasts, they gain the ability to perform photosynthesis. Today, chloroplasts are organelles in plant cells, but they still have their own DNA, which is different from the DNA in the nucleus of the cell. If a plant cell somehow loses its chloroplast, the cell can't make more. Only a chloroplast can make another chloroplast. Based on this, scientists have figured out that chloroplasts were independent microorganisms before they came a part of plant cells. Amazing, but true.